After years of thinking it was just a fluke, and that Syama Pederson had been locked up inside the dark cells beneath the Imperial Palace, we finally have a glimpse of what we have been waiting for. For those that don't know, what I'm talking about is Syama Pederson is a legend in the Warhammer community. He created the Astartes video, which is a work of art. It has been watched many millions of times and is now considered the benchmark of what a Space Marine animation should be like. So unleashed from the dungeons beneath Terra and working alongside Games Workshop, he is creating a new animated series called Astartes II as a nod for his prior work. Something that even the chaos gods that run the Games Workshop company now cannot ignore and leave aside. Alright, let's dive into this Astartes II trailer, cause wow, it's packed with some details. If you're a Warhammer 40k fan, this is like Christmas coming early in 2025. The trailer gives us a sneak peek into the lives of some iconic and lesser known Space Marine chapters, and it's clear that the story is going to be wild, a wild ride. Let's break it down. The trailer opens up with a Space Marine standing on the ramp of a Thunderhawk descending into the bowels of a large hive city somewhere in the grimdark galaxy. The towering spires and gothic architecture is just pristine, also combined with some cyberpunk lightings or elements. Anyway, we don't really get a clear picture or a look at the left shoulder or the pauldron of the Space Marine there, which would define the chapter he belongs to. But if you would focus elsewhere, you'd see a white Aquila on a red field on the wing of a Fire Raptor gunship in the same shot. After some digging, it seems that this one matches the insignia of the Angels Redeemed, at least the chapter badge that bears the closest resemblance. These are a loyalist chapter with dark orange-red armor scheme and has a white sword with an Aquila wings as their badge. They are a Codex-compliant chapter, but their origins are a mystery. The black power armor, their pack and arms in the trailer fit their description perfectly, but could they be a key player in the upcoming series? Maybe, or maybe they are mistaken, they're just the next chapter we will discuss. So these are the Retributors, the chapter created by Syama Pederson himself for his legendary Astartes fan fiction film. These guys went from fan-made to officially recognized and canonized by Games Workshop in 2021, which is quite awesome if you think about it. They are descendants of the Imperial Fists. They are fleet-based and specialize in shock assaults and high-risk missions. Their chapter master, Augustus Vantor, leads them along the eastern fringe of the galaxy. Seeing them in the trailer feels like a nod to the fans who made Astartes a phenomenon in the first place. They too, as seen later in the video, would be neck-in deep inside the Hive City. Whether the same one or a different city is yet unknown, but I'm guessing it's a different setting, as these Marines would have each different backstories that would tie up into a unifying storyline, one that we will converge into at the end of the video. Now things get spicy. We see Chaos Space Marines rallying up a massive crowd of cultists beneath what is most definitely the underhive of a hive city. The same one maybe. And they're not just any warband, they are the Sons of Vengeance. And how do we know that? Well, the white maze, the insignia on their pauldrons, is a dead giveaway. Looks like they're bringing chaos, like literally chaos, to Astartes II. The background on the Sons of Vengeance is twisted. These guys started out as loyalists and were first noted during the Obscuran uprisings in M34, but went full chaos after getting drunk on power during that engagement. They crushed rebellions for the Emperor's name, but then turned around and started looting and slaughtering for fun. By the time the Imperium caught up, they have fractured into warbands and turned 14 star systems into war zones. Their last known location was Cadia during the 13th Black Crusade, and now we will see them again in Astartes II. Then we have the Modificators, an Ultramarine successor chapter that looks like they're one step away from heresy. They've got a white skull as their badge and often paints their helmets with the same design. Despite their grim appearance, they're a Codex compliant chapter and fiercely loyal, and one of the most fiercest battle brothers ever. Before battles, they enter a near-death meditative state to figure out how the Emperor wants them to fight and die. Yeah, they are intense. In the trailer, they look every bit as unsettling as their lore suggests. These Ultramarine successors, like all the other Space Marines here in the trailer, are all firstborn Marines, and there are no Primaris here, which might mean that the story could start with seeing the different chapters during prior to the Indomitus Crusade era, and then head on to the present era. Anyway, the Modificators are a well-known chapter, Very well used chapter. They have been seen fighting in the Third War for Armageddon, the Plague Wars, the War for the Beast, and the 13th Black Crusade, just to name a few. I'm glad they're here in the show. We also have the Sights of the Emperor, which made an appearance here, and their colors are just rocking. That bright orange on a field of black is just beautiful to the eyes. I'm thinking I'll make a t-shirt out of it. So as for the background, their story is quite confusing and tragic. They originated as the 199th Aegida Company of the Ultramarines during the Horus Heresy and defended Sotha from the Night Lords, also winning of course. Then later rebooted Guilliman honored them with the emblem of the two crossed sights in honor of them defending their world Sotha, and kept them as the 11th company in the Ultramarines, even though his own codex that he created doesn't have room for such. They were then later officially founded as a chapter during the third founding after Rebooty's supposed death. Sadly, their homeworld was devoured by Tyranids during the Second Tyrannic War by High Fleet Kraken, so their hatred for the Nids run deep, and it'll be interesting to see if that plays into the story. We can see their rage in them fighting the Nids in the trailer, with as much hatred as any man can conjure up in the Grimdark Galaxy. Of course, we couldn't have a Warhammer trailer without a first founding chapter. The Blood Angels make an appearance here, but there's a bit of a confusion here. The main Blood Angel we see is rocking a black helmet, which is usually associated with their successor chapter, the Flesh Tearers, but the chapter badge, the red blood drop on angel wings, is unmistakably Blood Angels, or they could be Angels in Carmine, or maybe even the Angels Vermilion. The one with the assault pack in the ice tunnel might be a Marine from one of the successor chapters, as they also have similar badges when seen from the side, but a second one, which is up close, definitely screams Blood Angel to me. Maybe it's a nod to their successors, or maybe they will be seen in a flashback to the devastation of Baal, where the Sanguinius' sons all come into the defense of Baal, their homeworld. Anyway, it is great to see the Sons of Sanguinius in the mix. Then next we got the Sons of Medusa, an Iron Hand successor chapter born out of the Morea Schism. These guys are all about rejecting mortal weakness, flesh, and embracing technology, machine. Their founding is quite unique because they weren't officially created in that founding sense. They were exiled from the Iron Hands as they were trying to kill each other. There was an internal war. And then later they were sanctioned as a chapter by the High Lords of Terra. Their insignia is a white skull on spiked gears over a green field. In the trailer, they look as grim and tech-heavy as you'd expect. Yeah, they are seen fighting the Tau, and later in a split scene we can see one of their vehicles firing upon a group of Hormigons running in the desert. I'm thinking this would be a three-way battle between the Nids, the Sons of Medusa, and the Tau on a barren world. And finally we come to the scene that ties in all of this into one storyline. The trailer ends with a Terminator armor sporting an Inquisition seal on its head. This is a massive hint that the Death Watch will be the main focus of Astartes II. So according to the Warhammer community site, the trailer isn't actual footage from the series but a compilation of shots representing the former lives of the characters there. It also says that there's a pretty unsubtle hint at the end as to the nature of the final story, and that they leave us to speculate and start putting up the pieces together ourselves. And Astartes II is set to land in 2026, so next year. Okay, so that's settled. The Death Watch will be the core of the storyline. So for those that don't know, the Death Watch is a Space Marine chapter, but unlike the other founding chapters, it is comprised of many other battle brothers from other chapters coming in to fight for the Order Xenos. So this one is also known as the Shield that Slays. They are the armed forces, or rather the Chamber Militant of the Order Xenos, which is one of the major orders of the Inquisition. The Death Watch are charged with the search for information, for containment and ultimate destruction of all Xenos species. They are composed of battle brothers drawn from different chapters, with many of them volunteering while others that have to serve penance, as in the case of you-know-who, Lieutenant Titus from the Space Marine 2 video game. So the Death Watch operates from watch fortresses and watch stations spread across the whole Imperium. So yeah, that Inquisition seal is the biggest clue for the storyline. The Death Watch is all about hunting Xenos, and yeah, it looks like they'll be the center in 2026. Okay, let's end this by saying that the trailer is a love letter to Warhammer 40k fans. The Death Watch reveal is especially exciting, and the inclusion of chapters like the Retributors and the Sons of Vengeance, which are the Chaos Warbands, shows that the creators are paying attention to what fans love and want. 2026 can't come soon enough. What do you think? Which chapter are you most excited to see in action? Let's speculate in the comments. And with that, we come to the end of the video. Do hit that like button for support and subscribe if you haven't already. Till the next time, take care, boys.